But we'll do it again. Good
Yeah.
morning.
Morning.
How is everyone? Happy Tuesday. Hope everyone had a safe 4th of July weekend.
I know Dominic had closing the other day, and on the survey he said, "I really want to get together." I know.
Yes.
Yeah. So
The struggle is real.
yeah, it's like lasting much longer than I anticipated back in
I know.
March or April when this whole thing kind of got going. So
Yeah.
for now, we're just going to keep doing
Our
live
videos.
Facebook and our Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
And when we truly feel safe getting together, we will get together because, yeah, we
Exactly. Because we're all itching to do
totally
so.
miss you guys too.
But thank goodness for technology. I mean, at
Yeah,
least we get to talk to you guys through
kind of.
comments. I
Yeah,
know it's not the same, but we'll get there. We just
yeah.
all have to be patient. So.
Let's get into open houses.
Yes. So, as you guys know, because we've been disseminating information for the last few days, the Safer at Home was revised and we did not move into the next stage, which was protect your neighbor. But there was one
One.
significant change for our industry, and that was pertaining to open houses. So, because we posted Scott Peterson's legal blight to Facebook and to the weekly update, as well as Damian Cox's webinar from last Thursday, we're not going to rehash all of the current stuff that we've been doing the last few months. We're just going to talk about the new stuff and
Yeah,
how it pertains to equities policy, or Todd and Stacey's policy.
yeah. Our policy. I mean, if you watched Scott and Damien,
Damien. Yeah, they did a great job.
yeah, wonderful job. But the rules to do a safe open
Open
house
house.
with multiple groups,
It's ridiculous.
it's not happening. That's just,
Yeah. Having to use the social distancing calculator and calculating how many people can be in each room at a time, not allowing people to pass in hallways if they're not within the same group, abiding by OSHA,
OSHA.
ventilation requirements. I mean, there's so many things
Yeah.
that would keep you guys from being able to safely and legally hold an open house, that we put together a fail-safe, what we hope is a fail-safe way for you to do them. Even though I think we're highly discouraging open houses
Yeah, and that's, I mean, so
to start.
my personal thoughts are I don't think open houses are that essential.
Yeah.
They might be essential in getting buyers and
Yeah.
creating business. That might be part of your marketing for you to get clients, but for people to actually be purchasing homes, it's really not the number
Yeah.
one way people find homes and purchase homes. And really we shouldn't have people tire kickers out looking, seeing if they like a neighborhood and wandering
Yeah.
through people's homes right now.
Right now, it's the pre-approved buyers that are ready to go.
Yeah.
That should be coming into other people's
They
houses.
buyers should be with agents, period.
Yeah.
They should have found an agent and let you guys start online, start with virtual tours, looking at photos, getting them qualified, and then going and looking at homes.
Yeah.
So that's my personal feeling. I don't think open houses are necessary for the seller. They might be necessary for you to get buyers, and I understand that. So I would never want to prohibit
Exactly.
or limit our ability to earn a living.
Yes.
So with
So we're
that
doing
said,
a modified COVID-19 open house policy.
yes.
So,
So, one, this will be in writing. We will get this out to you. We're working on it right now with all the managers. We had a meeting, came up with the best practices that we think that we can distill to you guys, that you guys can truly follow and implement.
yes.
And that's the key. Can you implement these? Stay out of trouble because people are watching you. They are watching you closer than ever, meaning neighbors.
Neighbors
And even people going to the open house. You know, they might show up and go, oh my gosh, I didn't realize there'd be 30 other people and all wandering. We don't want that.
Yeah.
So
our goal is to keep you guys out of trouble without restricting your ability to do something. If your seller says, hey, I want you to fully market my property and I think an open house is important, we want you to be able to do that, but we want very black and white bullet points and checklists so that there's no gray. Can I do this? Can I not do that? We want it to be very, very clear.
So again, this will be in writing. We'll have it out to you guys hopefully in the next day or two.
so.
We're trying to put it together in a logical, easy to read manual.
That way, if you want to do an open house this
Yeah.
weekend, you have the ability to do it this weekend.
And in this we'll have, here's the guidelines. here's pure policy, you have to do this, and then we'll have some best practices of maybe how to do this, and you can switch that up as long as you're following the main guidelines.
Exactly.
And I think the first thing Stacey just mentioned is this needs to be in the seller's best interest.
Yeah.
So the seller needs to be saying, I want an open house. This isn't something that we should be going, hey, I got to do an open house. This is the great way for, and them going, I don't know if I really want people coming in. You have someone who's on the edge of, I don't know if I want people coming in the house. You don't want to do this.
Yeah.
You don't want to open yourself up to liability.
Yeah, and we're going to want you to go ahead and get written permission from your seller that they are authorizing the open house. That way, if someone does come through that is infected and then the whole house needs to be sanitized or cleaned, you don't have a seller coming back on you saying, hey, you pushed me into doing an open house. You've actually presented them with the COVID-19 advisory that CAR put together and just letting them know, hey, there are some risks and that they've given you permission to hold that open house. So I think that's going to be part of that policy.
Yeah. So that, again, this would be written. You guys will know what's going on.
Yeah.
But that's number one, in the seller's best interest. Number two, this is not for rental properties because most tenants are going to say, no, I don't want this. And the last thing you want to do is force, entice, kick out a renter who's already not happy about maybe selling the property and even having showings. Doing an open house, I mean, that's really how the whole lockdown started of our industry stopping there for 6-8 weeks is because a renter was kicked out of their property for a showing.
Yeah.
So if this is leased out, rented out, no open houses.
Yeah. Vacant property.
Don't even want to ask them and see if they'll sign. It's just, that's just a whole nother level of danger.
Just don't go there.
Don't go there.
Yeah.
So seller's best interest, not for renters, not your best interest, but the seller's interest. And this will be signed and accepted and we're good to go.
Yep.
So how are we going to do this? So if you watch the videos, open air, OSHA, not too many people in, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, you're supposed to calculate the square footage in the home and how much furniture is on the floor in a particular room and then determine whether you can have one person, two person, three people based upon the square footage. You're not going to be able to do it successfully.
Not going to happen. So
here's our recommendations.
Recommendations and policy.
And policy.
So it's not just a recommendation.
Yeah,
this is
policy.
Company policy. Yes. Keeping you out of trouble and me out of trouble.
Yes. And following the mandate.
And following the mandate.
Yeah.
So all of that. One group at a time. Meaning husband, wife, husband, partner, whatever. One group, they showed up in one car. That one car family gets to come in at a time.
At a time.
So how do you limit this? So if you had watched Damien's, his best practice was probably 2 agents. If you can find a way to do this with 1 agent,
great.
That's great. Again, we'll put this little manual together that might give you some ideas of how you could do that. But we're going to say 2 agents. One's at the front door saying, we've got a group of people coming in already. They're going to be here for, let's say, 15 minutes. And we will let you in. You're the next group when that group leaves. Why don't you please sit in your car? We don't want them hanging out here at the front
congregating
stoop.
at the front door because you can't have multiple people congregating at the front door.
So hang out in your car and I will text you when it's okay to come in.
Exactly.
Because here's the next thing that you need to do. As per the mandate, you have to track the people who are coming and going in this property.
Contact tracing.
Contact
is what they call
tracing.
It.
So here's an opportune time to get their name and their number. I've heard people say, let's get their driver's license. No,
don't worry about driver's license.
Now we've got data issues. We don't want that. But we do want a real name and number.
And I know buyers are going to be a little resistant and, hey, I don't want to be marketed to. You've always had the sign-in sheets and people put false information. But because it's a requirement of the mandate that you have to be able to contact someone in the event that something happens, you've got to have all their data. So getting their name and phone number
is the best way, and having to text them to let them know to come in will ensure that you got their real number.
Exactly. So, And then we're going to have a few documents that you have the ability to text them as well, such as the advisory, giving them warnings as to potential risks entering someone else's home, definitions of working relationships so that they know that you represent the seller, not them. So there's going to be a couple of things that you can send to them, whether it be a flyer, whether it be your business card. There's going to be a lot of opportunity for you to get data to them while they're waiting in their car, and then abiding by all of the policies and restrictions that are in place.
So it's your responsibility to be logging this.
Yes.
And they're really not wanting paper. So no flyers.
Yeah.
We
no
don't want
out.
them signing in. So they're not signing in, but I would have a log. And again, we're creating this for you. You write Tim Smith and party and all their little names. Need everybody's names and what time they came.
Yep.
And then their phone number. And you'll know that this is correct because you say, I need to text you some information. So you'll text them those forms so that they have them. They don't need to sign them. These are disclosures. So they're just letting them know. They don't have to agree or sign. You don't have to keep it, but having that text.
Text is your written paper trail that you provided someone with the information necessary.
Would be a great way. Email possibly too, but I think the text is real time. They could be sitting in the car. And so I guess the flow, how I envision it, is someone's at the front door, they come up, you let them know that these are 15-minute windows. They might be the fourth person. So really you're now looking at a 1:30 time, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I will text you to let you know that we are moving on quite well. And you can go about, maybe you go to a drive-through and pick up a Coke or something.
Right. You have some errands to run in the neighborhood.
Yeah. I love Kim. Virtual open houses are sounding better and better.
Yes, Kim Dunbar. Good call. Yeah. So
this sounds crazy, guys.
So this is really just to get people in the door. Okay, now let's talk about talk about agent number 2, the agent that's actually walking the party through the house. Yep. Let's go through that and what that looks like. Okay, so you're going to take someone in through the front door. You're going to close that door behind you, and you're going to lock that door so that nobody else can come in behind you, even though you have another agent out there that's, kind of the first roadblock. So you're going to tour people through the house. The benefit of only having one party in the house is they can move free-flowingly in any manner that they want. If you have multiple parties in the house, then you're worried about who's going up the stairs simultaneously, who's going down to the basement. You can't track and make sure that groups are staying together. So I'm envisioning that you're going to go ahead and do your room by room tour, making sure that they realize that they have a 15-minute time slot. And if they want to talk or ask questions, we'll need to do that outside.
Yeah.
So you can go ahead and take that whole entire party through the house. I think it's a good idea to go ahead and, walk with them, obviously keeping social distancing. And according to the guidelines, as we've had these restrictions for a while now, every person that enters the home has to be wearing a mask. So if a buyer comes up to the door and they do not have a mask and you do not have the ability to provide them with a mask, they are not able to come in. So it's important to have masks on hand. There are no rules and regulations go ahead.
I was going to say, and you have to have gloves.
Yes. As the agent, you have to be wearing gloves.
They recommend that people touring also have gloves, but you have to have a mask for the clients, and they recommend gloves for the clients, and you must have masks and gloves.
Exactly. So again, keeping closet doors open, keeping a cabinet or a drawer in the kitchen and bathroom open so that people don't have to touch a thing when they're in that property. But by you guiding them through the home, if there's something they want to look at, you have the gloves on so you can open that for them, to show them what that object or that area looks like.
And for setting the stage, it would be smart to already have doors and cabinets, not every single cabinet, that look really ugly, so that they can see what it looks like inside, because we don't want people touching. Exactly. And so you're the one that goes through, you turn the lights on with your gloves, and you go through the house and you set it up and you have some doors open and you open up the windows and all this good stuff so that, it's staged properly.
Exactly.
Karen, Damien suggested that agent set up outside, not inside.
That is correct.
That is what we're saying. So the one agent's inside, he locks the door, she locks the door. The other agent's outside, taking in people. So maybe you have a little table or
and a canopy
chair
or
yeah, it's summer, it's hot, so you set up a little thing with, and don't get too close, 6 feet. If multiple people, you're in control of keeping the social distancing and knowing that some of these open houses might be really busy.
And that's why we're recommending that you have people wait in their cars, so you don't have multiple parties engaging in the yard and congregating and neighbors going, oh my gosh, there were 30 people across the street today hanging out in the front yard. The main purpose, one of the main purposes of one person at a time is if you don't have the one person at a time, you have to have arrows directing traffic. You have to have people coming in the front door and people leaving out the back door. There's just so many restrictions it's impossible for you guys to do it.
We have a hard time getting our signs up. Granted, we have a hard time getting our signs up and getting there on time. We're busy people, and that's just way too much risk. And in normal world, I was joking about getting our signs up on time, but we bring water, we bring
cookies,
none,
nope,
no flyers,
no food,
no cookies, no beverages,
cards.
None of that. So the person outside is taking names, numbers, sending data, disclosures, monitoring the flow of people coming and going, and the person inside's walking them through. Maybe you guys switch back and forth, things like that.
Yeah. So it's going to be up to you guys to figure out how that flow works individually. And hey, the buyer that I log and send information to is the buyer that I tour through. And in the event that that buyer wants to write an offer or hire me as an agent, they're my client, and you just switch back and forth. It's going to be, one of those work in progresses to figure out what the best flow is going to be. But yeah.
Very interesting.
That's the checklist we're going to put together because there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we should have that in the next day or two, but this is taking a little, we just got this dropped on us, and then we have to come up with a policy and procedures and best practices within days so that you guys stay busy.
If you think of, hey, we're going to do an open house, we'll say noon to 4, just think appointment times. Each of these buyers are going to be given an appointment time, and that's how they're going to come through the home. It's not just come on in.
Yeah. And I've heard that there are agents that, through this whole pandemic so far have been doing open houses, kind of. They've been calling them appointments and showings and doing pretty much what we're saying right now. You don't put up an open house signs, but use a showing sign or appointments only. Mm-hmm. And people have come up and they're taking appointments and writing down what time they'd like to come in. That was kind of ingenious. They're not just allowing people at any time. I'm not sure if it's time to be ingenious or not. Again, I don't want to limit people doing business and people making a living. There might be a different way to do this, though. And I see people saying virtual open houses.
That's what I
still think virtual open houses. But for those sellers who are like, I want to work with an agent who's going to do an open house, who's going to do everything possible to get me the highest and best price, and I believe in this. Well, then this is how we're going to do it.
This is how you do it. Exactly.
And be safe. Hazmat suits.
Hazmat suits. I like it. I know. All I know is I probably wouldn't be jumping this weekend to do an open house because it's kind of scary. There's a lot.
It's a little overwhelming.
There's a lot to do. But
if it's done properly, it's done right.
It could be an opportunity. It could be a well-oiled machine
for you and for the seller. Because the market is crazy, as you guys all know. Yeah. We have people writing wonderful offers, Michael. More 3 times the earnest money, $30,000 over, removing contingencies, and still getting outbid or out, cashed or whatever it is that they're doing. So, this might be an opportunity.
Exactly. So we're putting together the checklist. We're putting together the resources. But if you take anything away today, just know that you have to be very, very disciplined when you're doing these open houses, and contract tracing is really, really the key element. And some of the pitfalls that could potentially come up that you guys have probably heard in some of these other live broadcasts is you could have a buyer that comes up and says, I'm not wearing a mask. Well, if you don't wear a mask, you don't go in the home. I'm not giving you my phone number. If we can't get your name and number, you don't go in the home. You have the authority and the responsibility to make sure that you're not just letting anybody and everybody through that property.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Because this isn't about your personal beliefs. Again, I've been saying that this whole time. I know we have people that, think that masks work or they don't work. This doesn't really matter what your personal belief is.
Yeah.
Because we are licensed agents and we are regulated.
Yep.
And we follow the rules when we're regulated. That's our job. So someone who wants to come in to the home has to follow our rules because this is a seller's home. This is a private individual's property, and we are mandated how to take care of this property. And they can't come and say, hey, I have, some phobia to wearing a mask. Sorry, my seller has more of a phobia of getting ill. And their rights outweigh your rights of seeing my personal property.
Here's a virtual tour. Here's the Matterport. Here's the photos. Take a look at it online.
Yeah. And Dominic, very good, thanks. You're also required to sanitize the home after the open house.
Yes, we hadn't even gotten to that yet.
Yeah.
So the next layer, and you're supposed to do it in between parties. So if you walk through the home and you're the only one that touches doors and things like that and nobody touches anything, then you can go back and sanitize those doorknobs. But in between every single buyer appointment, you're supposed to wipe down the property.
So this is why you walk them and they have gloves and
you say,
have gloves
don't touch anything.
And they don't touch anything.
Because otherwise you're supposed to wipe down kitchen counters and bathroom counters and every single doorknob and, the refrigerator handle and it's, in between every single person.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of liability here.
Put your hands in your pocket, look with your eyes.
Yeah, for sure. No, the kids aren't off running around. The party stays together.
Yeah. Exactly.
The group stays together.
Yeah, and I'm actually kind of surprised that they didn't put restrictions on children, just because it's really hard with kids. That's their nature. They like to touch things, and I'm actually kind of surprised that they didn't say sorry.
And I'm sure if you watched the video, then you also heard no using the restroom. Hey, my little son, no.
Nope. Tape the toilet down.
Literally. Tape the toilet down.
Yeah, we are actually following under the category of indoor events.
Yeah.
So we have to follow all the indoor events guidelines, and those are things like concerts. So it's a little extreme for the real estate industry, but yeah.
Yeah, and maybe it'll loosen up a little bit.
We'll see.
We'll see. But right now, this thing is really serious.
It is.
And you just got to be extremely, extremely cautious. And I think you would have scared them all off by now, especially if you're wearing a hazmat suit.
Sandra Shaler, good comment. Yeah, if we all just put on.
If we haven't scared you guys off from doing this,
exactly.
Only the brave and extremely vigilant agent
will be doing
open houses. Yes,
but yeah. But at least we have a mechanism in the event that your seller really wants an open house. We have the ability to allow you guys to do it in a safe manner that's hopefully going to go smoothly.
Yeah, it can be done. It can be done. And we will be getting this little booklet out for you guys to recap everything we just said. I know we joked and had fun a little bit.
Yeah.
But this can be done. It can be done safely.
And then we'll tweak it as we go. As the months go, if we need to tighten I don't know that you can tighten anything more than we're tightening right now. But as things loosen up a little bit, we might be able to change some of this.
I think the hardest part is just if you have a really busy open house, managing the flow. And Wendy Bailey in the Colorado Springs office had a great idea with QR codes and maybe put a QR code on the front door.
So if you're the only agent there,
it'll give them information. They'll automatically get things downloaded. So these are the types of things we're putting into this little manual that I'm talking about. Some cool best policy.
Because maybe you don't have the ability to partner up with another agent and your seller wants this open house. How can you do it on your own and make sure that you're not just tearing your hair out? So there will be a couple other recommendations in there for a single agent open house. Although we do highly recommend at least 2 people, whether it be 2 agents or a mortgage broker and an agent, or an affiliate partner and an agent. Your spouse. Grab a helping hand.
So, quick on questions here.
Yes.
Saw Midge said Damien suggested no children. Fewer the better. Mm-hmm. Really, the decision makers is best. But I'm I'm not going to make that a policy as a company.
Because what are you going to do when the kids come up in the car? Hey, you got to sit out here in the
gotta sit out
car.
in the
You got
car,
to
one
stand in
at
the
a time,
grass.
and
Who's paying attention?
Yeah. If mom and dad have a little baby, or they can hold on the kid's hands. So again, that is not a mandate from the state. So I don't like to ever overdo what the state says. I just want to try and simplify what the state says. So, but yes, if less is better.
Yeah, exactly.
Less is better. Not more is better. Less is better. Will your E&O insurance cover if there's a problem?
That's a good question. No.
So E&O stands for errors and omissions. That has to do with current contracts, meaning you have a buyer and a seller, and you omit something, you leave something out. But if we get sued because somebody gets sick, that is not errors and omissions. And that's what, I mean, you hear this all the time on the news, which again, I try not to watch much news anymore. I'm not on Facebook, I'm not watching the news, but I get my snippets, and I see the Chamber of Commerce's are really working hard at, we need a state or federal, what is it that we're responsible for?
Yeah.
If an employee gets sick, can they go after the owner?
Employer.
So we don't have an answer for that, but I can pretty much guarantee you errors and omissions is not part of this.
Exactly.
What is part of it? I don't know.
We don't know.
I don't know if this is your personal homeowners insurance, if this would be the seller's homeowners insurance.
Yeah.
They're the ones who are allowing people in. And so, yeah, when we talk about the tracing, why are we doing this tracing? Because, again, we get people going, oh, our rights. I don't want people tracing me.
Exactly. I don't want to give out my number. I don't want to tell you my name.
Well, one, we're not tracking you guys. I'm not asking for the list from you, and then we're tracking people. But in the event that the seller, let's say the seller gets sick, and they're like, oh my gosh, I've been sick for 3 days. I had an open house. We should let those people know I was sick and they came into my house.
And we have to let them know.
And yeah, we have to. Yeah, I mean, but that's the tracking or the tracings. It's how maybe we call it the notifying.
Yeah.
Or
so now you have the contact information, so you can start sending out.
Hey, check yourself. You could be ill, or someone brought it in. It's not to put someone in handcuffs. It's to alert them that they've been in an area that's been infected, and let's quarantine them, cut them down, bring them in, whatever,
exactly.
Test, make sure you're not ill. So that's the main thing. Amanda, I've heard from many sellers that,
most sellers don't want open houses right now, which is why we don't want to pressure them.
Yeah, I'm thinking this would be for vacant properties, really.
Yeah.
And again, just because it's vacant doesn't mean we have to follow all these rules. This is for the people who are viewing the property, not just the people who live in the property. So
exactly.
I agree. What other questions you guys got?
Yeah, and then we've referenced, and I know Paul mentioned it here in the comments, we've kind of talked about the OSHA guidelines, we've talked about the 6-foot social distancing inside the homes, the square footage calculator. All of that was emailed out in the weekly update that you guys received yesterday. We'll also link it into the comment section of this so that it's right here and easily accessible, and then we'll upload it to the YouTube channel. So if you just want to see what is the revised order and then all these different restrictions, you've got them in writing. So we'll do that. Did we get all the questions that are pulled up so far? Yeah, anybody else have any questions regarding the open houses, what you can and can't do? There's a lot that you can't do.
There's a lot that you can't do.
Yeah.
Philip, I'm kind of with you, Philip. No. Yeah, I really think there's better ways to do business right now.
Exactly.
I truly do. What about regular showings? Are there still allow only 3 people, including agent, or has that changed?
So that has not changed. We actually, in the field services category, have the ability to have 10 people together social distanced. I still like the decision makers and the agent attending the showings, but you can have up to 10 people social distance in a property. For example, a home inspector, the decision makers, a sewer scope guy, a roofer. I mean, you can have more than just the 3 in the property.
Yeah.
Best
practices
is limit it to the agent and the decision makers. Try and exclude kids, family members, friends. But you do have the ability to have up to 10 people socially distanced at the property. Hopefully that answers that question. Thank you, Paul, for linking in the 8th amended Safer at Home Public Health Order and the social distancing calculator, excuse me, and the ventilation standards. So.
Good question, Philip. I don't think anybody knows. Should someone claim they contracted COVID, what is liability for agent and the homeowner? I don't think anyone knows the answer. I mean,
yeah, we won't really know.
We won't know until a couple years from now.
Until a couple years from now, when we actually get to look in the rearview mirror and see what lawsuits came up. Yeah, we don't have any clue at this point. It's just unprecedented.
So I guess that's why we're doing what we're doing, so that we can say we have taken every precaution.
Yeah.
And we have the disclosure saying, hey, they're on their own too. They understand they're now socializing and coming into contact with other people, and they assume that risk.
Yeah. Whether that
and until you go to court, you don't know what liability is. And because this is so new, that we'd be guessing if we told you. So best practices: do all you can. Be safe as you can. Better safe than sorry. I love that. That's
absolutely
exactly it. And that's why I'm saying I personally would not be doing it.
Right.
I just think
I like the virtual open house idea.
I think there's other ways to create business and to get homes sold.
But at least we have the opportunity.
But we have the opportunity. We have the ability. So my seller's put sticky saran on her door handles and handrails. She tears this off at the end of the day and replaces more to protect her than anything.
Yeah.
Smart.
Why not?
Yeah. All right.
We value your time, and thank you so much for being here with us this morning. And we'll get more information out to you as we have it all compiled and put together, hopefully by Thursday. And then, keep us posted. If you do an open house, let us know. We'd like to hear the success of it, how it went. And then I think as part of that packet and that checklist, we are going to recommend that you guys take your temperature before you hold the open house and document what your temperature was.
And again, this will be in the packet.
Yeah, whether it's written down or you take a photo of the thermometer, that's going to be another realtor responsibility, that you have to make sure that you yourself are not ill before you hold that open house. But anyway, so hopefully this was helpful.
Good question. One more question. But I know you guys' heads are spinning.
Yeah.
We put this into a nice little packet so that we can do as much as possible to make it easy and limit the liability as much as we can.
Yeah.
Gina has a great question. If there's an open house that's already going on and you have a showing set at 2, who has priority? I would think the agent who has the showing set at 2. Most likely you're going to know that there's an open house. And if you set the showing, I would also then call the agent and say, hey, you just let me do a showing. I see you're doing an open house. I want to confirm that
when we show up, we're not going to have to wait in an hour line to get in, because we've got back-to-back appointments that are all spaced 30 minutes apart.
Because, who has the priority, and do you want to get there and have a issue?
A conflict.
So that's why you want to talk, because I could easily see Stacey and I were doing the open house. She's at the front door. I'm in. We're like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. It's busy, and we're doing all this texting. And oh my gosh, I forgot there's a showing today, and we scheduled someone at 2. So having that conversation and having a phone call from Sandra to Todd and Stacey, hey, I'm doing a showing this afternoon. Just wanted to remind. Oh yes, let us put it on our little
calendar and block you off.
I think that would be smart. So good question.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We got to all work together.
Yes, communication is key.
Our company with other companies, all agents working together so that we can all keep moving forward, stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
So,
thank you, Gina. Good question.
Yeah. Thanks, Teresa.
Gina, asking for a friend.
Yeah, no, I love that. That was great.
I love it.
But I appreciate it, Teresa. You're doing a great job keeping us updated. Thank you. We're trying, guys.
Yeah, we're trying to sift through the chaos.
Quickly moving.
Dilute it down for you guys.
So, anyway, we'll get this packet out to you in the next few days. So when you get it, then you can plan an open house if you so
desire after we've scared you.
And if you're someone who does an open house, let us know how it goes.
Yeah, I really would be curious.
Yeah,
because we'll all work together and continue sharing information. Hey, this was your recommendation. I did this instead and it worked great. Or I did a hybrid of a few things. So we'll continue to share that so that we can just create something that's even better and better and better as the weeks go on. So
awesome.
All
Thanks,
right,
guys. Have a great week.
Have a great
Enjoy
week.
summer. It's summer.
Yeah, go out and play.
Get out and go for a hike.
Yeah, go have fun. All right, take care, you guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.